everyone. For today's presentation, I have a verse from the third chapter. The third chapter in the Gita is called Karma Yoga. This is the chapter in which Krishna teaches us how to use action, that is, day-to-day activities, as a tool to have peace, find peace, and ultimately to achieve fulfillment, realization. When we look at our lives in this world, we face so many challenges which affect our peace, which interrupt, disturb our peace every day, many times. And we feel like running away from this world. Sometimes it gets so overwhelming. We say, I just want to, run away from this. But Krishna says to have peace, to continue to stay in peace, we don't have to run away from this place. We don't have to run away from our regular life to like a far off a monastery or an ashram or something like that. He says, he teaches us how we can stay right here and learn how to deal with day-to-day life so that we can achieve peace, we can maintain peace in our regular life. He says that we can do this by changing our mind, changing our attitude. He wants us to continue to act in this world. However, he reminds us whatever we do, we have to do the right thing. We have to do our duty. Do whatever we are supposed to do and not worry about the results and not be attached to the results and do everything as an offering. Learn to do your regular activities, anything you do as a worship to me, he says. And be grateful just that you have this life and you have this opportunity to be in this world and be able to do things instead of, the other way. Be grateful all the time. So he says, these are some of the points of wisdom by which you would be able to reduce your suffering and increase your peace. And besides actually enjoying life more, you can ultimately experience your realization. You can experience your divinity within you by starting this way. So while following this wisdom, Krishna gives us what is our responsibility in this world. We are trying to keep ourselves at peace by following his advice. But what are our duties? How are we supposed to interact with the world? And that means people also. And Krishna guides us. Krishna again guides us, telling us what to do, how to behave in this following verse. And for that, we go to verse 25 in the third chapter, Karma Yoga. Krishna says, Saktaha karmanya vidvamso yatha kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvams tada saktaha chikir shulloka sangraha. He says, O Bharata, that's how he's addressing Arjuna, just as the ignorant men act from attachment to action, similarly, the wise men should act without attachment for the good of the world, desiring the good of the world, the welfare of the world. So while advising this, Krishna is calling Arjuna Bharata. Bharata means someone who is from the family, who's born in the family of the king Bharata, the original king of Bharata Vamsha, who is the son of Shakuntala and Dushyanta. But there is a hidden meaning when Krishna is saying Bharata. The hidden meaning is Bha means light, knowledge. Rata means revels. So Bharata is a person who revels in light. Light means the knowledge, the ultimate knowledge, the Brahma Vidya, knowing who we really are and how to realize that truth and be one with the ultimate. So Bharata is someone who revels, who seeks this knowledge, revels in this knowledge, and ultimately passes it on to us. Because Arjuna is like a channel through which Krishna is able to give us this information, knowledge, ultimate wisdom to us. So that's the hidden meaning of the word Bharata. Now, what is Krishna saying in this verse? He says, Saktaha karmanya vidvamso yadha kurvanti Bharata. Just as the ignorant men act from attachment to action, attachment to results, attachment to the fruits of their action. What does he mean by that? When we look at our lives, whether personal lives or professional lives, we are carrying out many, many duties, many, many actions all day, every day. And most of us do them with such zeal, such enthusiasm, such interest and commitment, day after day, month after month, year after year, throughout our lives. Why do we do this? Typically, we do all these things to gain more, to have more, to hoard more, and to accumulate. It can be about family, friends, fortune, fame, finances, so many areas. We just want more and more for ourselves and also for our loved ones. Not only we want more and more, we also want more and more, typically more and more than so-and-so. We want to be better than so-and-so. It becomes a rat race. It's because we think by having more, we would enjoy life more. This we think is the key to being happy, to have peace, to enjoy life, to have joy. So in this process, actually, we may wear ourselves out physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because we are so attached to the results. Either such and such should happen for me or to me, or such and such should not happen. It's constant desire. We are either running towards something or running away from something. We are going between attraction and aversion. And in this process, we have a lot of anticipation, expectation about the results. And this is what can cause a lot of suffering because of the worry. Is it going to happen according to my wishes or not? And when, besides worry, we also suffer when the results do not meet our expectations. We regret the so-called poor results, less than optimal results. We feel bad. We may forget, while doing this, we may actually forget all the blessings we have and forsake them for what we don't have or what has not materialized. Undesirable results also can dampen our efforts. We may feel disappointed, and this may affect our, as I said, health also. Or we may become more motivated. We may say we may become obsessed and try even more, harder to get more. All this is because we are concerned about ourselves, only looking out for ourselves. And this is what a typical avidwan, unwise person's life is like, Krishna says. He is chasing after things constantly, all day, every day, totally attached to the world. But how should a wise person really behave? A wise person who wants peace should really behave. Krishna says, Kuryad vidvans tada saktaha chikirshur loka sangraham. The wise should also work with such zeal, such sincerity, such continued effort, as if his or her life depends on that effort. As if, he's trying to get everything for himself, For all external appearances, we don't see any difference between the wise or the unwise. Both look like they're trying to get things done, going after things. However, while the ignorant is self-centered and is motivated by his attachment, by his anxiety for the fruits of his or her actions, the wise do it for the sake of the world, for the good of the world. Loka sangraham is what Krishna says. Okay, he simply does it because that's the thing he is supposed to do. It's for the best. It helps others besides himself. So he doesn't have attachment to the results. So a person who is in this mode of operation, no anxiety, no worry, no ulcers, no heartache, no loss of sleep. And actually, because his mindset is such, in a better state of mind, this person also is not preoccupied and actually can do the job better when we are not worried about, oh my goodness, what's going to happen. And we are relaxed. We can do the job better than when we are worried about things. And also this state of mind can help a person be in a state of samatvam, Krishna says. So the person who is in this state can face any results with equanimity, okay, and be able to deal with them better. So this person is not attached to the results, but interested in attaching himself to a higher cause, nobler cause, higher than himself. Okay. So when one wants to be in this state, who could be the role model? Who would be the person we could look up to? Krishna says, none other than me. Look at me as a role model, he says. 322 in the same verse, same chapter, he says, 22. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta evacha karmani. He says, oh Partha, here he's saying, oh Partha means son of Pritha, means son of Kunti, my cousin, When you look at the three worlds, Arjuna, see what's happening. There is nothing that has to be done by me. There is nothing that has to be obtained by me, attained by me. There is nothing I'm looking for to get because I have everything. There's nothing that I'm lacking. However, I am always engaged in work. Even though I have nothing to gain, Krishna says, I'm always working. With enthusiasm, with joy. So follow my example, he says. Are there any mortals for examples? Yeah, Krishna says yes. Not only I, but people can learn from me and have followed me. And he gives examples. For example, in third chapter, 20 verse, he says, Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim astitaha janakadayaha loka sangrahamevapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. He says, men like Janaka, Ashwapati, they have attained perfection. They have realized, they have obtained self-realization. Through work alone, they were great karma yogis, And however, they were relentless. They were they were selfless, and they continue to work. So you should work also, keeping them in mind as examples. You should also work for the good of the world, besides looking after yourself. Okay. And are there more examples? Yes, in ancient times, we can think about Buddha. He was a self-realized person, but he continued to work for the good of the world. He continued to teach. And in modern times, Ramana Maharshi or Swami Vivekananda, they didn't need to do anything. They were self-realized. They were completely at peace. However, like Swami Vivekananda, for example, he worked tirelessly for the good of the world, for helping the world. So these are some of the noble implications Krishna is talking about. But are there any practical implications? Yes, of course. If we sit idle, I say, I'm peaceful, I'm happy, I'm, completely satisfied. I don't want to be worried about the world. I don't want to get tangled up in this world. Krishna says, one who has this attitude sets a bad example. 321, Yad yada charati shreshtaha tatta devetaro janaha. People looking at a person who is doing nothing can't differentiate between a wise person or unwise person. In their eyes, a person is just sitting there doing nothing. So being peaceful can look like being lazy if we are not doing anything. So Krishna says, no, you cannot do that. Having peace does not give you a right to be lazy. You have to continue to work. Otherwise, everybody else would also follow that example. In addition, Krishna also reminds us about our responsibility to the society. 3:12, he says, Tair dattan apradayabhyo yo bhunkte stena eva saha. He who enjoys the gifts, the blessings, from birth to death, we are taking things from the world. That person is a thief if he or she does not give back to the society. Of all the species, it is said that human beings benefit the most from nature. We have to, from the society, we have to give back. We take a lot from this world and we have the responsibility to pay back, to give back. And this point of serving the community is emphasized throughout the Gita. Many times, and ultimately in the 18th chapter, almost at the end, he says, 1867, Nachashu Shushave Vachyam. My teaching, Krishna says, is not for someone who does not render service. So service has to be a part of pursuit to realization, pursuit to peace. The ultimate is not available without serving. Even a sannyasi is serving by teaching, by setting an example about how he or she lives a simple life by spreading good words, by having satsangs, teaching, so many ways a sannyasi is also contributing. So, but what about us who are not sannyasis? Krishna says, continue to live your lives, starting from growing up in the society, getting married, raising children, doing a job, working for livelihood, caring for families, in all sorts of ways, in all sorts of day-to-day life. Do your duties, but learn to do them as an offering to me. Okay, 9:27, he says, Tat Purushva Madarpana. Whatever you're doing, learn to do it as an offering to me. So every work, every deed you do becomes an offering to me. So the point here is learn to do all that as offering to me, means discover the holiness in it and learn to be of service to others, starting from mundane things, kind words, gentle behavior, lending an ear, giving a helping hand, doing your duty. Whatever you do, when you are doing, being of service, offering it to me means doing it without expectations. And this is how, when we can learn to become a sannyasi from within, Krishna says, Anashritaha karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnirna chakriyaha. First verse in the 6th chapter, he says, one who learns to perform his bounded duty, whatever one is supposed to do, without depending on the fruits of action, means not expecting anything back, that person is a sannyasi, that person is a yogi. So sannyasi is not somebody who is just changing outside robe or actions, but changing from within. And that's what Krishna teaches again and again and again in the 3rd chapter. It's not the outside you're changing, but the inside, becoming a sannyasi from within, which means you are no longer acting just to take care of yourself, but also acting to serve the community to the best of your ability, without expecting anything in return, without expecting a reward. That is one simple way to reach me, Krishna says. That is one simple way to have peace and joy in your life. I would like to end with a quotation from Ronald Reagan, who said, nobody can help everybody. Nobody can help everybody. However, everybody can help somebody. So that's what Krishna is telling us. Try to be of service. Try to help the community to the best of your ability, and you would gain a lot of peace and joy by being that way. That is my presentation. Thank you.